Hi everyone, welcome to another week of the DIYs. It's me again, Madison, and we are so excited for this week's because we are in a new season, and a new season means a new Flowers for Dreams menu. So we're starting out this little sprawl out with one of our bouquets from that menu. So the first one this week is going to be our punch. The punch is a very beautiful bouquet because it's supposed to be reminiscent of Christmas punch. So it has those deep reds, purples, a touch of yellow to kind of signify like orange slices inside of your punch, things like that. Very pretty. So let's get started on the flowers. The first flower we have is a rose heart. Rose hearts are very pretty because they have this really deep red color to them. So they're a little bit more classy, is what I like to say, when you put them versus your standard red rose. They also have a very beautiful center. So if you look in the center, it's very crinkled, unlike your, again, very standard red rose. And that's why they're called rose hearts, because if you look in the middle, it kind of looks like a heart. It's very cute. Next, we have some burgundy mums. These are very pretty as well. They're very full and they're very huge in your bouquet, so they take up a lot of space. And again, they go very well with that rose heart. So very excited to use some of these. We also have some carnation hypnosis. They're very pretty. They're like a deep purple color, and if you look closely to them, they have like tinges of pink inside of them. Especially when they start to open, you get to see more and more of that pink. They're one of my favorite carnations, so excited to use those. Now, what would be Christmas without some berries? So we got some red hypericum, very reminiscent of like Christmas berries, cranberries inside of your punch, things like that. We have two types of snapdragons in this one. So we have these beautiful purple snapdragons, and then we also have some of these lavender snapdragons. So this is going to give us like a different tone of purple, and it's going to make these purples really pop. So I like the contrast. We also have, again, those pops of yellow. Again, this reminds me of like when you make Christmas punch and you put like orange slices or orange peels inside of it to give it color and make it pretty. That's what this is very reminiscent of. So we have some yellow yarrow, again, very beautiful, very bright yellow. That's going to be pretty. And then we have a dried protea. It's very spiky, it's dried, and the yellow, again, gives it a very wonderful pop inside of our punch. All right, now for our green. So again, we're using the classic. Y'all have used this almost every week, almost. We have our lemon leaf, also known as salal. We have some magnolia leaves. These are really cool because they have like two sides to them. So we have this one side, which is a very dark, deep green, but then on the other side, we have this very velvety, brown, tannish color. And it's so pretty and soft, like when you feel them. Sometimes they don't even feel real to me. So I'm excited to use these. We have a wonderful evergreen called Carolina Sapphire. It smells amazing, and when you guys start cutting into it, it's going to fill your room. It's very blue and silvery, and it's also known to be kind of an insect repellent when you grow it in your yard, also known as a deer repellent, apparently. So this one's really nice to use, and if you have it growing in your yard, good for you. And then lastly, we can't have a holiday without a symbol of peace. So we have some olive branch inside of our bouquet. I love using olive branch because again, the green is kind of two-sided. You have this like dark, dusty green on one side, and on the other side, you have this almost silvery back to it. It's very pretty. I love using olive branch inside of arrangements. So let's get started. So as always, I always start with my salal. We won't need a lot of it because we have so many greens inside of this one. That's my favorite part of the punch. Again, cleaning off any leaves that we don't need, cutting on a diagonal. And then we're just gonna get started on our structure. Again, I'm cutting off pieces of the bottom, taking off any leaves that might hit the water or are above the line. And again, we want this to look full, so we're going to make sure when we put them in, we're balancing them and going around the whole rim of the jar. Again, make sure you're taking off any leaves that are going to be below this rim. You don't want any leaves below that because I don't know how many times I got to say it, but leaves create bacteria in your water. So make sure you're taking those off. All right, so I got all the sides filled. I have the middle filled out. I'll do one more in the middle that kind of is a little taller, so it really fills out my vase. Perfect. So now I'm just gonna put those to the side, and we're gonna get started with our Carolina Sapphire. So again, California Sapphire, it's so bluey and silvery, and it's really gonna pop with our punch bouquet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take off all those bottom leaves just like that. Easy, you can just strip them right off. Really think about how I want this to look. It's very feathery and pretty, so you want it to like kind of fan out. Is the way I kind of put it. So I think I'll keep this long piece, cut it a little shorter, measure it by my vase. Good, good. Just like that. Again, I'm gonna look at my California Sapphire and be like, hey, I can make 2 pieces out of this. I don't want to waste anything, so I'm gonna cut it right along the stem right here. Always look at long stems and see if you can split them up. This includes flowers, greens, anything. You can always make more than one piece out of one piece. So always assess your greens. See, like this one, I'm not just gonna cut all that off. I can make so many pieces out of this. All right, take those little pieces off. Got another piece right here. I'm gonna give that a fresh cut on a diagonal. That right in the center. Make sure you're turning your vase around from all sides so you can make sure it's filling out nicely. Beautiful. I gotta hold it up because I'm really tall, so it just looks like a thing from the bottom. So I have to, make sure you do that too if you're like me. Beautiful. And then I'll do one last piece of my California Sapphire. I got this pretty long piece, so I'll keep that one long. Take off any of these bottom pieces that I'm using. And bam, I got that going. I like to save my magnolia and my olive branch for the end because I think they make really pretty accent green. So I'm just gonna put those to the side, and then we'll put those in on the last part. So let's get into our flowers. So I'm gonna start out with my rose hearts since they are the star of the show, in my opinion. I don't know. So I'm gonna see where I want these, kind of test it out before I just shove them in, like that. I always cut less than what I need to cut because I can always cut more, but I can't bring it back. So all right, put that in just like that. Beautiful. And then I have one more in here. So I'm gonna have this one more towards the front. So I'm gonna cut it just a little shorter. Again, with my roses, sometimes you get roses, those guard petals that are used to like protect the flower. Um, those tend to die first, so you always want to peel those off. And if you want, you can take your rose and spin it out. Make sure you watch for any thorns, though, because I've rolled a thorn to my hand too many times in this lifetime. So yeah, see how pretty that opens? Bam. Pretty, pretty. So this is what I got going on right now. I'm gonna adjust this one in the back so it kind of goes more outward. Stick that out a little more. Perfect. So now I have kind of the asymmetrical thing going on so that, it gradually goes across the bouquet. Draws the eye across the bouquet. Here we go. All right, and next I'm going to do my mums. I'm gonna do one again a little shorter. I put that one right here. A little shorter than my first rose, just so you know you have different heights in your bouquet. You don't want your bouquet to just be like a flat 2D look. You want depth. You want to look into your bouquet and have a surprise every time you look into it. So that's what I'm doing. And then I have one more of these. Perfect. Now remember, our dailies menu is usually 360, so make sure you're looking at your bouquet from all sides and filling in any gaps all around, um, because we want it to look beautiful from everywhere. Next, I'm gonna go in with my snapdragons. First, I'm gonna do the dark ones, the purple ones. I'm gonna have one a little taller, just a little. Let's see how that's looking. Beautiful. And then I'm going to turn it around and put the other one back here because remember, 360. We want it to look beautiful from all angles. And remember, make sure we're stripping off all those leaves. Snapdragons are nice because they're super easy to strip off all the things. Just make sure you hold it at the top so you're not, breaking your stem. Take off any of those bottom leaves that might look a little or that might be touching the rim of your bouquet. Again, we don't want that. All right, height check. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're gonna go in with our lavender ones. Again, those lavender ones are supposed to be like a pretty little pop. So I'm gonna do one that kind of contrast. I like putting, especially when I have two of the same flowers but different colors, I kind of like putting them right next to each other so they look like a contrast. Especially when they're around the same color, it looks like you have like a two-faced, like double of something, if that makes sense. So I put mine right here. It's kind of mimicking the gesture of this purple one, so just like that. And it peeks out like, hey, I'm here too, period. So now we're going to use our carnation hypnosis. Again, I always like putting carnations next to each other, but since this is going to be a 360 and not just front facing, I want to make sure that you can see a carnation from each side. So I got one on this side and I'll do another on the other. A little trick with your carnations, if they're not open all the way, you can peel back these little sepals. And it doesn't take too much of a life off of your carnations because carnations are resilient. They are strong soldiers. They don't, they just last a long time, I feel like. So you can manipulate them a lot. So what I like to do is I peel back those sepals and then I take my hands and I fluff them out. And then bam, now you can see that really pretty color, that really pretty pink color. And I got that right there. And then you know what? I'm gonna do that with my other carnation because why not? So take that out, peel back everything, peel back everything, peel back everything. And then just open it right back up. And then you have a beautiful carnation that's showing more of its colors than it would have in the first place. So, all right. So now we're getting down to the wire. I have some hypericum still, so I'm gonna take off all of these leaves. Sometimes in like transportation of hypericum, you might get some berries that have like broken because the top stems are really fragile. So just peel those off. You don't want them hanging and then getting in your water. I'm gonna put one right at the top, kind of like a pretty little splash of berries. And then over here, I think I'm going to put some right here. Go on a diagonal. Now, since I want this one to stick out a little more, I gotta cut a little shorter so I get that angle right. So I'm gonna put it like that, and then put it just like that, just so it sticks out a little more. And bam, berries. All right, next we have our proteas. So the dried proteas are really pretty because they're really crunchy and cool. but also they have that really pretty yellow, again, very significant of Christmas punch. So I'm gonna keep this one a little taller though and have it right on top. I want to get this angle right though, so it's not just like sticking straight up. So we're gonna play with our other stems gently, and then there we go. I gotta cut it a little shorter. Remember, if you want to get your angles right, you might have to cut your stems a little shorter. So pretty, pretty. There we go. Beautiful. Now remember, this is a two-sided bouquet, so we want to make sure we have every side looking pretty. So make sure you turn around. This side is looking beautiful, and this side is looking beautiful. Period. All right, so next we're gonna go in with our yarrow. Since I have a pop of yellow on this side, I'm gonna do the pop of yellow on the other side now. And I see, especially now that I've lifted this up and looked at it, I have a little hole right here. So that's where I'm gonna put my yarrow. Since that's very close to the rim, and I want that angle and I want it to stick out, I'm gonna cut it really short. As long as it's touching water, we should be fine. And then bam, I got that angle I wanted. So remember, sometimes you gotta cut things a little shorter to get the angles that you wanted. All right. And now we can go in with the last of our greens. So we have this beautiful magnolia leaf, but there is a lot on here and I don't need that much. So I'm actually gonna split this up, and then I have three beautiful pieces. So first it looked like this, which was like very bulky and would take up too much space. Now I have this beautiful fan of three individual leaves that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna kind of pinch those together, cut it a little shorter, assess my bouquet, see where I want this to be. Could do it right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do it off to the side so it kind of follows the gesture of my Carolina sapphire. And I kind of want this brown to show on this side. It just looks very pretty. So let's twist it a little bit more. That angle. Beautiful. Fluff out my Carolina sapphire so you can see it on both sides. Oop, hold up. Let's take this pesky leaf off. It's getting in the way. And then let's once again cut this a little shorter. Make sure you're gentle and you're not breaking any of your beautiful stems. Twist back anything into place. Beautiful. Voila. Wow. And then lastly, we have our olive branch, the sign of peace that we all wish to have around the holiday table when we do that dinner with your family. You know what I mean. So we're going to have a peace offering. So this is going to be our olive branch. I'm just going to sprinkle this within my bouquet, just so it has like really pretty little accents everywhere. So I'm going to do some right here. I'm not going to do too much. I want it to be like an accent, you know? Make sure you see it from all angles. I'm going to do some lower over here. Cut this one a little shorter so it's deep in there. You cut off that pesky leaf that's in the way. Lift it up to you so you can see everything. And then I'm going to do one more right by that rose. Olive branches come in like the most weirdest growth pattern, so just make sure you're looking at your entire stem of olive and breaking it down correctly, because you can get a lot of pieces out of it. All right, final touches, everybody. Go around, pull everything in or out, really get those angles right. Lift things up that you want to be seen more. So like this rose back here, lift this out. I want this carnation to be a little bit more out and seen because she's so pretty. Why would I do that to her? Why would I hide her? And then Voila, we are all done. So this is the beautiful punch bouquet. Again, there's so much in this and so many different colors, but it's so harmonious. It honestly reminds me of a big old glass of Christmas punch. So yeah, again, thanks for watching this week. Hope to see you guys next week, and make sure you leave pictures inside of the email that we've put below. I love seeing your bouquets. It makes me so happy when I get to see them. And yeah, hope to see you guys next one. Bye.